Hello friends, welcome here. My name is Oceana. I wanted to share my favorite romance books that have no spice. So I have done a lot of videos like this in the past, a lot of different clean romance book recommendations, so I'll link them all down below. I do have a whole playlist, but I wanted to have a favorites video out there. So these are all my favorite books. You would have seen these in videos in the past, but I wanted one video where they all live with all of my best recommendations. Okay, I had to stop the washer, so I changed my sweater, but it's still the same color. I'm like having a blue moment and I love this blue color. So here we go. What was I saying? We're doing my favorite closed door romance books. So again, I'll link videos down below if you want more recommendations. I have lots, okay? But these are my favorite at this moment that I've read. A lot of clean options are on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have that, check there. Probably most, if not all of these books are on Kindle Unlimited, but I do own a couple, and then there's some that I have managed to find through the library, so I will share those. And I will say none of these have faith content, so these are not Christian books. So if you don't want to read about faith, then here are some books that don't have it but are still clean. This is just what I wanted to share today. I've got plenty of Christian romance recommendations, so if you do want faith content, check my videos. I've got lots there, but this is all non-faith based but still clean romance books. Okay, a recent favorite is How to Kiss Your Enemy by Jenny Proctor. I definitely want to own this book because I could see myself reading it again. I just found it so funny. This is an enemies to lovers trope, but normally I don't like that trope. But Jenny Proctor did it so well because the characters weren't mad at each other for no reason, and they also weren't excessively mean to each other. Like, they did poke fun and like there was some banter, but they were more so rivals, but in a kind way, because they actually did still help each other at times. So I really liked that, and the progression of their relationship and just everything related to how they like finally came to get together and like admit their feelings. I just really loved everything about it. So this is definitely probably my favorite Jenny Proctor book at this moment. So I definitely recommend her as a clean author. I just like her writing style. The way she writes like the romance and like her kissing scene is just right for me. Like, it doesn't feel like you get nothing and like, is there even romance? But then there's not so many details that I'm like uncomfortable and I should be closing my eyes kind of thing. And technically this is book 3 in a companion series, so it will spoil who the two couples before this book are, but that's okay because it's really good. But book 1 is How to Kiss Your Best Friend, which I also really liked, but this is 4 stars. It was my first Jenny Proctor book and I really liked it for sure, and I would recommend this, but I feel like it just went to the next level with How to Kiss Your Enemy. I just really liked it. But How to Kiss Your Best Friend is also really great if you like best friends to lovers, because I personally do. So that is why I loved this so much. But there was a little bit more like, I guess, lack of communication, whereas How to Kiss Your Enemy had really good communication. So I liked that for that. Okay, similar story to this is the First Taste by Anna Conwell. This is book 3 in a companion series as well, but this one in particular felt like I really didn't miss much. Like, I feel like it was easier to just jump in and it was like its own standalone story. There were the couples from the other books and you could tell that that's what that was, but I didn't feel like I was like missing something or like there was a relationship dynamic that I was lacking. So I feel like you could definitely just read this one and be fine, like read this one first. So this is like best friends to lovers, childhood friends to lovers, fake dating, and I really enjoyed it. I was really impressed with the writing style. There was a little bit of lack of communication or like just kind of poor communication in this book. So it's a 4.5, but it's still, I rounded it up to 5 because I was just so impressed. For this being like an indie published clean romance, the writing was really good. So I definitely want to continue reading from this author because I think she does really well. Her work has scenes, but they were pretty mildly described and it didn't like go into details where I was uncomfortable. So yeah, I definitely really like this and I'm curious to read more of Anna Conwell because this is the only book that I've read by her, but I've heard amazing things. And for those of you who like the hockey scene, I know that she does have a hockey book or series. I'm not sure. She's written at least one hockey book, so I'm curious to try that one. And then also fake dating. I really love it when the best friends to lovers has fake dating in it. And I'll show you another book that is exactly that trope, which I just love this book. It's The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This is hands down my favorite Sarah Adams book. The humor in her books is just unmatched. Like, her characters just are so funny. The banter is so funny. The jokes, like, it's really good. And Sarah Adams will use language in her books, but this one is closed door, it's fade to black, and the build up to the fade to black wasn't much for me, so I was totally fine with it. But yeah, this is Friends to Lovers Fake Dating, and I love it. So this is definitely high on the list. It's one of my favorites. Okay, carrying on, you can tell what my favorite trope is. This is Falling for Your Best Friend by Emma St Clair, and I really loved this book. I love Friends to Lovers, you guys. And I mean, it's just one of my tastes, you know, I love it. So for this one, this is technically book 4 in a series, but again, you could definitely read this out of order. For this one, you follow this girl really deep in her head, and she's struggling with something, and you're slowly figuring out what it is along with her. And that was so beautiful, and just like such a great aspect to the book that made it unique. And then the guy, Chase, he was such a great guy. Like, one of those book boyfriends that you're like, swoon, wish you were real, wow. Like, he was so good to her. And it was not fake dating, so it's just like Friends to Lovers, but he gave her so much space. He was so patient, he was so kind to her, and it was so beautiful. So yeah, this is 4 stars though, not 5, just because there were some slow parts. But the romance though, everything about it, I absolutely loved, and it is still a favorite. Okay, my next favorite is The Bodyguard by Katherine Center. This is such a fun book. If you just want lighthearted cheeseball fun, this is the book for you. She does use language in her books, so you will see some language, but this is like closed door, no spice kind of thing. And this is where the girl is the bodyguard for a celebrity guy, and it's so funny. She goes to his farm and they pretend to date, so it is fake dating as well. And just so good, so good. So yeah, definitely, I'm just so impressed with Katherine Center. I love her books, so I would highly recommend starting with The Bodyguard if you haven't read her before. She writes really good depth into her characters too. Like, it's not just light and fluffy, even though it feels like it is. Her writing is just so good, so yeah, highly recommend. My next favorite is The Roommate Situation by Katie Bailey. This book was also very funny. So this is brother's best friend, which is another trope that I love. And how it works is the brother's best friend is already living at the brother's house, and then the sister shows up there needing a place to stay, and she didn't know that the brother's best friend was already there, and the brother happens to be away, so it's just them two, and they have to figure out how to live together. It's totally clean, okay? It is totally clean, but so cute, so romantic, and they definitely start off like unsure about each other at first, but then they like slowly become friends, and it is so cute. Really liked this one. I think I gave it 4 stars, not 5, but I was definitely impressed and would read more from this author. And then another one is A Novel Proposal by Denise Hunter. This is, again, just clean fiction. Denise Hunter does often write Christian fiction, but lately she's been releasing just clean fiction in general. And for this one, it is kind of like Enemies to Lovers a bit, but like in a way forced proximity, because this guy and girl end up renting a beach house that is like a duplex, and so they each have half of the duplex, and they end up working together because she finds a wedding ring in a little free library, and so they are kind of trying to investigate this little free library and this wedding ring. And then she's also an author trying to write a book, so she ends up like writing that story, and it is of course a romance as well. So this was really entertaining, really fun. I gave it 4 stars. I would recommend it, and it is a good book with no spice. Another favorite with no spice is The Friend Zone by Sha Wilson. This is a sports romance, and I also love sports romances. So this book definitely has a little bit more description in the kiss scenes, but it is completely clean. Like, there's no spice in this book, but they do make out, so be aware of that. But then there's no language, but they do use words in place of where language would be, but they're like really lighthearted words, so I actually thought that was pretty funny. And for this one, the guy is on a football team, and the coach's daughter is off limits, but he ends up having her as a tutor for math, and so they do get to know each other, and he ends up helping her try to win over a different guy, and it is their romance. It is so cute. I really liked it. I found it really entertaining, and I definitely would recommend this one as a no spice, clean romance book. Another book I would recommend is Pixels and Paint by Christy Hunter. She usually writes historical Christian romance, but this is just a contemporary fiction. I don't remember that there's any faith in it. I don't think there is. If there is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think this had any faith. So it's just general, clean fiction. And the romance in this book is so stinking cute. So one thing that like I gave it 4 stars, not 5, because the girl is like a programmer, computer programmer, and the guy is an artist, and they do describe them doing work in those fields, and I found that not that interesting to me. I really just cared about their relationship and like seeing how everything plays out. But I still would say that like if you like contemporary romance, this is a solid one to go for. So they end up, yeah, forming a friendship first, and then such a cute relationship. You actually see them in a dating relationship, like building a relationship that is just so cute. I really liked seeing them just hang out. Like it felt real in that way, and I don't know, just the scenes that she wrote them together, I really loved reading. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this one. Okay, and then this is my last like wild card, because it technically has spice in it, but it is like fade to black / no description, but it's Nora Goes Off Script. I randomly just really liked this book, and it's so weird, but I just like was so invested. I think it was the writing of it and the characters. I just was so invested in this lady's life. So you follow this script writer for Hallmark. She has 2 kids. She's recently divorced, and she ends up writing a script about her relationship and her divorce, and they want to make it into a Hallmark movie. And the guy that they get to play her husband is her love interest, and they actually decide to film it at her house. Like it's almost like a, I don't know, what do you call it, biopic? I don't know, like it is a memoir, whatever, and they film it at her house. She's getting paid a lot of money for it, and she needs the money, so she agrees. And it's a romance between her and the lead actor guy, and they do have moments together at her house, but it was not described, and it was fade to black, and like they talked about it, but not in like a derogatory kind of gross way for me, so I was okay with it. And I was just fascinated by this lady, like I don't know why. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It kept me on the edge of my seat. Like this has some twisty turns. There's no language other than like 1 or 2 F words. And other than that, there's no language. So why do you even put that in there? Whatever. If that sounds interesting to you, I would give it a try. It was such a good like secular book for me, and I found it really entertaining. It's short, like, yeah, so it is a favorite. So those are all of my favorite romance books with no spice. I will write them all down below, and again, I'll link videos down below with more recommendations, but I just wanted to share this video with all of you in case you haven't seen one of my videos before, or you're just looking for a quick recommendation video. Here it is, and I hope you guys really enjoyed, and hope you stick around, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.